January 1, 2025, the salary threshold for the Fair Labor Standards Act is going up through the roof. It's just around the corner. And if you thought the July changes were tough, this one is going to be even more impactful. You've already had to adjust once, but now it's time to prepare again for another significant shift that could affect your payroll, your team, and your bottom line. Welcome back to the People Processes Podcast. I'm Rami Alijil, and if you're a business owner or HR professional feeling overwhelmed by constant regulation changes, you're in the right place and in the right company. I'm here to help you navigate through the January 2025 FLSA salary threshold changes and to guide you through the steps you need to take to protect your business and your team. In today's episode, we're not just going to talk about what's changing, we're going to focus on how you can get ahead of it. If the thought of raising salaries or reclassifying employees is already keeping you up at night, well, me too. All right, let's recap. What's changing? January 1, 2025, the minimum salary for an exempt employee in almost all of the exemption classifications will rise to $58,656 per year. That's $1,128 per week. This is a huge jump from the $43,888 threshold you dealt with in July of this year, and even larger in compared to where it was before July. If you have an employee currently classified as exempt, but earning less than $1,128 per week, that's $58,656 per year, it's decision time. You need to decide, do you give them a raise to keep them exempt, or do you reclassify them as non-exempt, making them eligible for overtime and requiring you keep detailed time records? Both options come with financial and operational challenges. Just so you know, to make this easier, we've created a free salary minimum calculator that'll help you see exactly how much you need to adjust salaries or prepare for overtime costs and estimate them, which you can download off our website. The threshold for highly compensated employees is also increasing. This is the HCEs. You don't have a lot of these in most organizations, but this is going from $132,964 in July to $151,164 in January. That means you'll need to review the compensation for your top tier, what are called HCEs as well. These are people who don't fall into normal exempt classification buckets, so maybe they're not making decisions of significance enough to be a executive or managerial person. Maybe they are out in the field a bit more, but not blue collar, and that means they're not administrative. But if you pay people right now more than $132,964, and they pull from a couple different categories of the exemption, you're fine. That's going to jump up to $151. We have a FLSA exemption flowchart as well on the website, which again, linked down in the description, where you can figure out which employees fall under this category. It's a pretty tight one. The key is that major jump to $58,656 per year. You're juggling multiple priorities, keeping your business profitable, managing a team, trying to stay compliant. It's easy to feel frustrated by yet another FLSA update, especially when the ink is barely dried on your July adjustments. But this is what's happening. You need to work on these cost implications with empathy. The idea of increasing salaries, especially by such a significant amount, is probably going to feel like just too much to bear. You're already running a tight ship, and this update could strain your payroll to the breaking point. On the other hand, converting employees to non-exempt means managing overtime costs, which can be unpredictable and tough to budget for. Beyond financials, this change can shake up how your team operates. Employees who used to enjoy flexibility in their hours might now need to track their time closely, impacting their productivity and motivation. And for you, it means making sure you're working with a team or yourself for taking care of that more administrative overhead in terms of tracking, compliance, and timekeeping. There's also a real danger here of an employee morale hit. Reclassifying salaried employees to hourly can often feel like a demotion, even if it's not. They may see it as a loss of autonomy, and that can affect their engagement and loyalty. How you handle this transition will determine whether your team sticks with you through these changes or starts looking elsewhere. All right, things you need to do before January 2025. First step, identify which of your employees are currently classified as exempt, but earn less than that $58,656. This is your priority list. Employees will need either salary adjustments or reclassification. Second, take a hard look at your payroll. It's time to evaluate your budget adjustments. What's going to cost your business more? Raising salaries to meet the new threshold or reclassifying employees and managing overtime? This is not just about short-term fixes. The decision will affect your budget for years to come. You also have to think about salary compression. If you give, like, let's say that your starting position, you pay $48,000 a year, and their manager, you pay $55,000 a year, and they're, an experienced manager, you're paying $65,000 a year. Well, if you raise that starting position up to 58, you're going to have to compensate for management as well, right? For executive leadership. So it's important to look at this first on the people who are under 58,656. But then you got to take a minute to go back and look at your salary compression so that you make those steps up. In general, this is a back of the napkin, not exactly true. Just if you need a place to start, the cost of leadership is 20%. If you're going to take 5 people and one of them is going to be in charge of the other 4, that person needs to make about 20% more than the other 4. Otherwise, it ain't worth it. Being in charge sucks and it takes a lot of effort. So 20% is kind of the premium for management. In broad literature, your industry may vary, all the caveats. But if you don't even know where to start, you need to be looking for about a 20% gap at a bare minimum for leadership, right? All right, go through your list. You've looked at giving salaries or reclassifying. If you decide to reclassify, communication is key. These conversations won't be easy. Some employees may feel like they're being demoted. You have to be transparent, empathize with their concern, and explain how this benefits them in terms of overtime eligibility and compliance. Then you got to get to training. If the employees are reclassified, they'll need training on time tracking and overtime policies. Their managers are also going to need to understand their role in enforcing these rules and ensuring compliance. Mismanaging this could result in penalties, fines, and lawsuits, so it's a big deal. The employees will need to get used to clocking in and out and reviewing their timesheets to make errors and change requests, to fix errors and make change requests when they forget to clock out and all that stuff. And managers, their direct supervisors who know when they showed up and when they didn't, have to actually look at that and sign off as well. It's normally a 2-tier approval process at a minimum. The employees themselves say, yeah, that's what I worked. And then their managers go, they ain't lying. Okay? So it's, if you're going to go, well, I can't spend that extra $10,000 per employee, perhaps more than that, because you're going to wind up needing to do manager raises and all that. You're going to take them hourly. You can't just say, you're hourly now, clock in and out. You got to think about how you're going to make sure this stuff is accurate, not upset all your employees, and make them prepared for it. Then you got to take a minute to review your job descriptions and ensure they align with the FLSA duties test for the exempt ones. So if you decide to keep them exempt and you're going to do these raises, I highly recommend you make sure that it's not just the salary stuff you're complying with, you're fixing the job descriptions too, their actual work that they do. Misclassification can be very costly, so take time to get this right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, now that you know what to do, go through your employees, identify the under 58, make a plan for each one. If you're reclassifying, train. If you're giving a bonus, if you're giving a salary increase, make sure you're not screwing up all your management channels. Okay. There's a couple things that keep coming up. Some speculate that the 2025 update could face legal challenges, as we saw with the 2016 regulations 8 years ago. You can't afford to gamble on that. Failure to comply with this will lead to hefty fines, back pay claims, and damage to your company's reputation. A lot of people said this when I came out in March and said this is going into effect in July. Oh, don't worry, there's going to be legal challenges. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. The July stuff went into effect. So we're now 3 months out from this, and this is a much bigger jump. Misclassifying employees as exempt when they should be non-exempt can lead to severe penalties. The risks are too high to ignore. So don't wait until the last minute to review your employee classifications and adjust as needed. If you want to do this all internally and not share it with your employees until, I don't know, December 25th, Merry Christmas, you're going to be hourly in a week, you can do that. But make sure you're ready, because it's not going to be something you're going to be able to just do in a day or two. All right, if you decide to raise salaries, make sure your budget can handle it, not just this year, but for years to come. $10,000 salary increase is a long-term commitment, not just a quick fix. You're probably going to lean to going to non-exempt in a lot of these cases. And converting those employees to non-exempt, you got to make sure you understand what that means, right? They're not used to flexible. If they're used to flexible schedules, they might struggle with timekeeping and overtime rules. So you got to guide them. Communicate early. Don't wait till the last minute to tell your team. Surprises in business, especially when they impact people's paychecks, rarely go overwhere. Well, the earlier you start these conversations, the more time your employees have to adjust, and the more you'll maintain their trust. Last note, don't forget to check your state specific regulations. Some states have stricter overtime rules than federal law. You need to make sure you're compliant on all fronts. If you're in California, you're already at a higher salary point than this. But if you're in the Southeast United States, this is going to hit every state. Okay? All right, let's recap it real quick. January 2025 FLSA salary threshold is going to update. The update will increase the salary requirement to 58,656. That follows the July 1st change that raised it already. You need to decide to raise salaries or reclassify your employees. And now is the time to act, plan your budget, and complete and communicate with your team. If you're just blown away and feeling overwhelmed, you don't have to navigate this alone. This is what one of the things that my company does with our clients. We specialize in helping businesses manage all this kind of stuff. You can book a free 30-minute consultation with me, and I'll help you find the best way forward. We can use our tools, we can knock it all out and make a quick plan, get you started. Plus, you can download free minimum salary calculator and our exemption flowchart to help simplify your decisions right on a link in the description. You're eligible for that consultation if you're a US-based business, have employees in the US with more than 10 employees, okay? Your business and your people are the heart of what you do. It's what makes your company. My book, People Processes, says it's how to make your people your competitive advantage. And these changes are going to impact them. They can feel overwhelming. You don't have to tackle it alone. Drop a comment below or reach out directly if you have questions. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an important update like this. I'm here to help you stay proactive and keep your people processes running smoothly. Until next time, it's time to go out there and get your work done. And have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.